Hello everyone, and today I will be going over the Sicilian defense. The basic Sicilian defense is defined as white starting out with e4 and then black playing c5. So going into the opening book, we can see that there's a couple main moves that white can play. So white can play knight f3, knight c3, c3, and d3. So really, I would say there's only one move that white should really ever play, at least for this in this position. That's knight f3, and now we get to the the how when the opening differentiates. So if I just flip the board, so we can see it from black's perspective, and that's what I will be going over mainly today. Black has a couple main moves. So queen d6, knight c6, e6, and there's a couple others. So d6 is by far the main move, and then knight c6 here, and then g6 here. So I'll get to g6 later, but as I will start off with black playing d6. So white almost always plays d4, and then after this black just takes. So this is just so the reasoning behind this is that black is just playing d6, which is a pretty safe move, and still controls the center and allows black options to develop. Just this knight can go here, this bishop can go out now, and this bishop will stay here, but will develop later. So not right now. But then white on the other end plays d4 to control the center and try to get his knight, or their knight here. So here black just literally almost always takes, because if you don't take, it's really not that good. So black takes, and then white takes with the knight. Well, if you go to the queen here, the knight can go to c6, which doesn't make that much sense. So it goes here, and now we'll get to the differentiation. So there's a couple moves here. There's knight f6, there's knight c6, and there's a6. So all of these can transpose into other openings. So in a lot of these you'll see the transpose. So knight f6 is the main move because you can always play these later, but you can play them right now as well. I just recommend not to, because what this move does is that it attacks this pawn, which forces white to move the knight here right away, which again, if you don't play it, it'll transpose most likely, but I would say it's just better to play this first. So it goes here, knight goes here to defend, and now you can see the past two moves I discussed. You can go a6 or knight c6 here, and there's another one, g6 here. So and there's e6 as well, but I would personally not recommend playing e6. It's somewhat difficult to play, and it requires to have a lot of technical skill, because if you don't play it properly, then you as black can get into really passive positions where white has high control of the center, and you're kind of struggling to do stuff. But if you can play it right, it's not a bad move. Okay, so I'm just going to select this. So start with this. So this I'm not going to cover right now, because it's not exactly a difficult opening to play. You just develop here, and often you just go here, you move your rook here. So if you go here, then white might go here, and then you can go here, and it's not too difficult to play. So as long as you develop your pieces properly, you'll be fine. I never played knight c6 here, but the opening book says bishop g5, which makes sense. You want to develop your bishop and put pressure on this knight. And I guess this transposes to e6 here, which again I recommended not to play. So this doesn't seem like the most optimal move. Instead, I'll be focusing on a6 and g6. If you go here, there's a very large line, so I'll just very long line and lots of theory in this position where black castles on the king side, white castles on the queen side, and both sides attack each other. So I'll just rapidly list off the moves here, and I might make a future video on the Accelerated Dragon, or I would recommend you guys to watch another video on YouTube on the Accelerated Dragon if you're interested in playing. So white goes here to develop the bishop, protect this. Black goes here, white goes here, black castles, white goes here, black goes here. And this, again, these are like interchangeable. There's some differences and like things you can do. So white castles, black goes here, white goes here, black plays the rook here, and white starts attack. So as we can see, white is going to start pushing these pawns into the king, move these pieces out. Oh, and then, yeah, this is very important. White was supposed to move this bishop here sometime in there. Yeah, so, probably here, and then here, here, and here, and then since it's attacking, you go back here. Then, I don't know, you can play something like this. King goes here, and then you can play a couple of things. You can go here, here. So there's some options I would recommend. I know best of this one. Goes here, rook takes here, then white goes here, and like you can go here or something, and you can like start attacking. This point still stands with white. White can bring all their pieces, and white has a lot of them. White can obviously necessarily bring this one. So white has a lot of pieces attacking the king side. Then black can sacrifice this, make ruin black's pawn structure and force through on that side. But again, this is definitely not enough. So if you're interested in playing this variation, I'd recommend diving into it further. So that's the dragon variation. So you can also like not play that. You can, instead of playing g6, you can also play a6, which is called the knight door variation. It's kind of, white plays similarly to what they would in the Accelerated Dragon, whereas black plays a little bit slower and safer, and but more solidly than the dragon variation. In the dragon, both, like, you cannot waste a move for either side. Both sides have to attack instantly, try to checkmate their opponents as fast as possible. Here, it's definitely more of a positional game, and not as risky for either side. So white plays bishop e3, or bishop e3, and then there's a couple things that black can play here or here. There's a little difference between here and here. If you didn't play that, and we saw that black would do some other things. So play continues like this usually, and then knight goes here, and it's definitely more positional. White has this nice square they can take care of, and black has black is playing to also take control of the square and develop their pieces and have a good safe game. And as you can see, white wins 25% of the time here, average rating 2400, but there's a draw 60% of the time. So this is very solid for both sides. So you can also play g3 here. I believe this is called like the Accelerated Dragon, or something like that, hyper excited dragon. So you just start what we discussed instantly. So you go here, I don't know, white plays something like this, you play here, white plays here, you know, here, and then it like transposes into what we've seen before, with here having 12,000 games played. So similar to what we saw before. Okay. Then lastly, knight f6 here, knight c3, and then knight c6. This is definitely not bad. White never plays here, never takes. So white either goes here or here. So both are pretty good. And then one of the more popular ones as well is bishop c4. Apparently, I've never played this variation, and I haven't seen too many games with this variation as black, so I'm not too sure, but the play should be pretty intuitive. You want to develop your pieces, maybe push this pawn either or here, develop this, then castle, and then do something along those lines. So if you just continue quickly with the most popular move, white plays bishop d5, which makes sense. You just want to develop your piece and put some pressure here. E6 is the most popular. Queen d2, a6. So this is a little bit of a transposition into what discussed before. So queens are castling, and then this transposes into a variation I discussed before with e6 that I recommended you guys, the viewers, to not play unless you're willing to have a little bit less center control and have a little bit more of a passive game. Again, it's not a bad variation. It's not losing for black at all. It's just it's a little difficult to play if you're starting out, or even if you're an intermediate. You have to have some decent amount of skills to play this opening, because white has a bunch of center control and pretty active pieces, whereas black, on the contrary, does not have as active of pieces and not nearly as good of a kingside control. So there's some other openings that can be played. So go here, and there's like it's called a Alapin variation. We played c6 or c3. Sorry, my bad. Or this is the delayed Alapin, because white waits here. Sometimes white, instead of going here, white just plays this, and this is called like the Alapin, where it goes here. In this case, best bet is to like play, just continue normally. So go here. And then if white takes the center like this, you can just take this or take this. But if you go here, and then white plays like e5 is the most popular. So if you go here, and then white plays d4, take, and then you have a pretty good game like this, where your knight's in the center, white has more pawns control of the center, but you can pretty easily break that. So white maybe want to do like this, you probably play here, taking for white would be a bad move, by the way, but as you can see, this would end up being a decent game for black, where black, I would personally say, is actually a little bit better here. Not a little bit, decent amount better here. So that's all I have for this very brief introduction of the Sicilian defense. There's a lot of other less played and more advanced variations of Sicilian, but those are, in my opinion, are the main ones. Again, I covered the dragon, the Najdorf, playing knight c6 here. I covered a little bit the e6 variation, which is called the Schwenningen, very difficult to say, or just Schwenningen, or like some of the other variations of it, so you can search that up. And then the Alapin variation, where white plays c3. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment sections, and I'll see you all in the next video.